right, thank you. Welcome to another episode of Leadership Matters with Superintendent Micheal Johnson. We're so excited with the growth and the continuous efforts of everyone, and they're sponsoring us and willing to watch our episodes. Super excited with our guest that we have with us today. But let me say this, please, as you go onto YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, share these podcasts, because as I said originally, this is just about me trying to know a little bit more about folks. I'll keep it in my Arkansas swing for now, but I just want to know a little bit more about people. And today's guest, I'm super excited. I always give credit where credit is due. When I met her in Miami, even before she was President Johnson, she came and said, she was so excited, and she said, how can I help? And I want to help. And many folks could say whatever, but she has held to that, and super excited to get her in her busy schedule to commit to FAMU DRS and to our Leadership Matter segment. So let's welcome President Marva Johnson with us, and she's sitting here looking as lovely as ever and ready to part some wisdom with us. Dr. Johnson, just tell us a little bit about who is Marva Johnson?
Could I start first, though, by recognizing the phenomenal accomplishment you've had the opportunity to enjoy here recently at FAMU DRS, moving our students forward from having the infrastructure that reflects a B school's excellence compared to a C school's excellence is a major accomplishment. I know that the goal is to be A, but you don't get there by itself. Every incremental step forward matters. So I just want to say thank you and congratulations to you and to the entire DRS family for making sure that the infrastructure here reflects the excellence of our students.
Well, and it's to lead is to lead in comfort, and I've had a comfort with your presidency of knowing that I'm supported and that we can continue to do what's best for students. Just another addition that I was going to get out to you guys early next week, we just found out we had the biggest gains with our students with disabilities.
Excellent.
I think the average was about 40% in state. We were at 53% of our students with disabilities being proficient. Phenomenal. And it's just not me. It's a slew of us, but I will say, as I've talked about in Leadership Matters, is time and commitment and staying focused on the work. So thank you for those kind words, President Johnson.
Excellent. And I hope we get to come back to some conversations about
you
why K through 12 is so important to FAMU's success. But I will answer your first question, and just noting that my journey to the presidency was rooted foundationally in my objective to serve from the beginning. When I started my academic journey, even as far back as my elementary school years, I always knew that I was going to be either a scientist or a lawyer. I just had to decide. And then when I decided that I wanted to be a lawyer, I actually initially wanted to be focused in the area of juvenile justice. I wanted to support youth who, but for their circumstances, found themselves not able to accomplish what they were truly capable of delivering in terms of their excellence in life. And to be able to help them get themselves out of those situations and onto a path to realize their excellence. And I got sidetracked in some ways in getting through my own educational journey and having to be able to finance it.
Right.
But I never lost that passion for being able to help young people unlock their potential.
And see, that's something I think that's the power of these conversations that I don't think that folks even understand that about you, Dr. President Johnson. Well, you are Dr. JD, but I don't think they understand that heart of why law and why that meant so much to you and how that formulated you to be the leader that you are, and how you're still trying help and preserve students.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Students that look like us.
Students that look like us. Students that grew up like me. I talked about this a little in the presidential search process, but one of the most proud moments I have ever had as a professional leader was getting to the point in my career where I was the highest ranking executive in the facility that I was housed in, or that my office was in. And when we were going through the process of selecting that facility and going in to evaluate the property, I realized when I walked into the building that building was a building that, as a young child, I used to help my mother clean in her part-time job. And
Wow.
just to have come full circle in life and to now be the executive working in the building that I used to help my mother clean was just, what schools like FAMU are here for. We are here to transform lives. And for FAMU to be at the top of the list in the nation in terms of universities that help transform lives and create social mobility is a phenomenal experience for me.
Yeah,
right now.
I think a lot of times people don't understand just how transformational and opportunities that it provides for students and for us to be able to truly lead in our most authentic manner.
Absolutely. And so I was fortunate to be at that point of time in an executive role where the responsibility as a corporate executive was to be a part of the communities that the company I worked for served. And in extending my professional abilities to help support the community, I was asked to serve on the virtual school for Florida's board. So that was my first opportunity to actually be able to create some relationship with Florida as it related to advancing education and education outcomes and policies and impacts for the state. And from there, I was fortunate to be selected to serve on the State Board of Education, and then selected from amongst my peers on that board to chair, and then to have the opportunity to be a part of the Constitution Revision Commission. I don't know if everyone understands, but Florida is one of the only states in the nation that every 20 years we take a step back and look at the Constitution. We select members from the population. We create a Constitution Revision Commission, and we get to propose constitutional amendments that then the general population votes on the ballot. So it's not as if we're not the legislature. We're not creating law and then putting that on the ballot. But we evaluate the current statutes and the Constitution. We hear and do listening sessions in order to get feedback from the general population. And then we propose amendments to the Constitution that the general population gets to vote on. And in my service, I was selected to be a part of that once every 20-year Constitution Revision Commission, and I chaired the education subcommittee for Florida's Constitution Revision Committee, and that was a phenomenal experience in just citizenship. To understand as a citizen, it is we the people, it is our government, and to have that opportunity to serve the state and to make sure that we were advancing our constitutional responsibility to provide a high quality education for every citizen in the state.
And see, this is the power of our podcast, is to sit with President Johnson and hear from her and hear the great works that she's doing and has done. I think sometimes people think as leaders, we just pop out the bottle. I was talking last night in our segment about literally, and I mean this, the tears that my wife has seen me have behind leadership, the celebration like we did with currently with DRS, but there's a story behind it, and that's the power of our podcast. Now, let me back up because I do want to congratulate you on one big thing to me is you've completed your first year as president at FAMU. And Lord, no, you had some resiliency because when I was watching early on from a leader as far, I said, good Lord, I don't know how. So I do want to congratulate you for staying the course and having the passion to lead FAMU, one of our most historic HBCUs. I came from a historical one. as well. But my daughter graduated from FAMU. You finished 1 year. What has surprised you the most within your 1 year?
It isn't a surprise, but it is one of the things that I am most inspired by. It's something extremely compelling for me in my mission here at FAMU, and that is the quality of our students.
Absolutely.
I would put our students up against any institution's students for any role, any day of the week, all day long.
Right.
Our students are exceptional. And I don't want to get in trouble with my own alma maters, but and I say we have more than 10 universities represented with degrees in my household and with my children and myself, and the thought that we've got Ivy Leagues, we've got top 20 universities, public and private across the family, and to know that here at FAMU, with the price point that we offer, one of the lowest cost for a higher education outcome in the nation, and we produce some of the most just phenomenal leaders in the world is just truly inspirational.
It makes you look at how to make yourself better because you see the greatness of what's being produced.
Absolutely.
I tell this, and I may get in trouble, but they're a pretty honest person. And when I was interviewing for this job, then he's not president, Eddington, but when I interviewed and he and I were sitting talking one-on-one, and I was like, come on, man, that young man you had with me, that y'all coached him. And he said, no, that's our kid.
It is.
I can say 8 years later, from DRS all the way up to FAMU, and I've worked in a district, with 100,000 students. I have never seen students at the K-12 and the university level, and I actually attended Harvard, so I'll say that are as smart, and not only that are kind and really interested in being humans.
Absolutely.
That you see here at FAMU.
Absolutely. My first time recognizing the high caliber leadership qualities of our students was my engagement with former trustee Zayla Bryant. I remember sitting with her and thinking she's literally about 20-something, 21-ish, 22 years old. And I would put her in a boardroom with 40-year-olds who've been working in professional context with graduate degrees and leading Fortune 50 companies any day.
Right.
She's that sharp.
Right. Let me ask you if an additional to that, because of everything you spoke about with FAMU, there's a lot of tradition. I mean, I even remember when I came to DRS, it's always, what's he going to do? Is it, we're going to become a charter? Is that why they bought him here from Denver? Or what is his mission? How do you balance in this, or have you looked at it, in honoring what FAMU is today, but as a leader, we always have to see what FAMU can become tomorrow? How do you balance the tradition and the tomorrow?
Yeah, it is an everyday focus. And one of the things that I did at the onset to make sure that I did not lose sight of the need to balance, and I kept perspective that bolstered me, was create a presidential advisory council. And my board of trustees is certainly foundational to helping to make sure that I stay focused on the things that matter to the enterprise. The board of governors has done a phenomenal job of giving us the vision of the SUS 30, but to surround myself with people who I know are what I would call the keepers of the flame for FAMU was very important to me. And I know there are people who have given themselves that name, but there are people who embody that wisdom and that commitment to FAMU's success in a way that I feel is exceptional. People like Daryl Parks,
Right.
people like Arthenia Joyner, people like that who served.
Rose Greens that we had on last
Absolutely,
night. Yeah.
absolutely. I brought them in immediately, and there are about 27 members of the Presidential Advisory Council who I can
Right.
go to when I'm thinking about something, when I've been in council with my board on something, and I just want to make sure that the decisions we're making are still honoring the legacy and honoring FAMU's traditions in a way that are objectively honest, and just keeping people who are willing to hold your feet to the fire, willing to hold you accountable to that legacy, but know that you need to transition and to grow the legend and to move us to the next great chapter. That has been essential for me.
And you articulated, let me ask you, 10 years from now, what, you're still doing the thing here, or what do you think FAMU should be known for nationally 10 years from now? We see all the AI, we see all the, I know you came from the business sector, so, and an attorney, putting all of that together, what should, and honoring the tradition, but what should it be known for 10 years from now?
I think that what FAMU should be known for 10 years from now fundamentally is the same thing it's known for today, and that is creating the social mobility that is necessary to change and transform lives. You can get anywhere from here, and I want everyone to think of FAMU as the place to go to reach their dreams. And so what does that mean from the perspective of our curriculum? That means that our curriculum has to be focused on where the world is going. When you think about where our economy is going to be driven from, especially here in the state of Florida, the greatest opportunity for us to support our state's economy is creating roles in health sciences.
Right.
And so one of the first things we did is, under this administration, is pull the 3 colleges that are focused on health sciences out so that they could have individualized focus as we try to accelerate our ability to meet the demands for healthcare for tomorrow. We are looking at some huge deficits as it relates to nursing practitioners. Upwards to 60,000 practitioners we have a deficit of about 60,000 nurses. We have a deficit of doctors, a deficit of dentists. So to be able to focus on how we can accelerate the path to fueling the pipeline for workforce support in those areas is key. And I think FAMU is going to be known for its ability to produce the world's leaders as it relates to our healthcare and the health sciences services.
Beautiful. Thank you. Again, this is Superintendent Johnson. I'm so honored to have President Johnson in here with I'm going to say it, I hope it's one of her first one-on-ones, but I'm enjoying really hearing the passion. And I don't think, as leaders, a lot of times we're in a setting where we can just have that type of passion. And I think it's great for our viewers. It's great for me, one that tries to learn leadership every day and get better, to hear that passion, because it fuels me. So thank you for sharing that passion with myself and with our viewing audience. You said something really key we talked about was students. And I think about, I have a graduate from FAMU who graduated in 25, 30 years or so before I graduated, or after I graduated from college. And I think about how different it is from even year to year. What skills do you think really that you would want FAMU to back up or move forward to begin to think about moving into the future? What skills do you see that these bring? Because our students can do, as you say, they can go and do anything from FAMU, but we got to make it relevant.
Absolutely.
As a leader that sets the vision, what do you see as that skills that we really need to, that I need to think about here at DRS? I know I've seen you play, and you've kind of thought through that intentionally. What's the skill or the mindset that you want them to have and that they would need the most moving forward?
We know that it's essential for you to be strong in math in order to flourish in engineering. We know that in order for you to flourish in the humanities, it's essential for you to be strong in reading and writing. What we now need to embrace is a future that is powered by AI. And we cannot compartmentalize that technology. That technology needs to be foundational to every curriculum that we offer. So as we think about tomorrow, it needs to be grounded in technology, regardless of what the discipline is that you're studying. And so AI needs to be a foundational element to every portion of our curriculum. I think it's groundbreaking that the new president of Spelman, which is a liberal arts college, is an AI specialist.
Yes,
that should tell us everything we need to appreciate about what our future is going to look like.
I thought it was the new boogie monster to come get us.
Yes.
When I was first introduced to it, and I'll admit that my wife was, manipulating, working with AI and telling me, and I was like, I don't know. And just for me as a superintendent, what it's helped me do on productivity.
Right.
When I would sit at a computer, this is my 25th year in leadership, and it would take, what I needed to think about doing. I'm sitting I'll be very honest, I'm sitting talking to Garland, that's the name of my AI, but if I do this as a leadership, what's the impact? And to be able to do those type of things, well, I'm doing it on this side, and I think what we need students that look like you and I, that understand culture on the other side.
Absolutely.
Helping produce that. And so I agree wholeheartedly around the technology and those components. I want to stay on students just for a little bit, and if I may. And this is one thing I get often when I go back home to Arkansas in conversations. I love you guys, but I'm telling the truth, is the argument about college affordability and it being relevant. What would you say to that student? I know you grew up in
Tampa. Yes.
And it was probably the same conversation then, why, Marva, why do you want to go to college and be a lawyer? Why do you want to what do you say to those students when you go out as the grand ambassador of FAMU who say, why college?
Right. I will tell you that when I graduated from high school, I was one of our commencement speakers. As I mentioned, I was the student government. I was a senior class president and was, a fairly decent student. I was in the top 5% of my class. I was not the valedictorian, but I was a pretty good student. I had all the honors. Yet my parents didn't assume I was going to college. My mother, if I came home and told my mom I was taking a job as a supervisor at the post office, she would have been so excited. If I had come home and told my father that I was going to the Army or any of our armed services, he would have been incredibly proud and really felt like I was living my life's mission. So for me to choose to go to college, they saw that as an opportunity cost. I remember my mother looking at me and saying, I know you want to go to Stanford, but that school's in California. I don't know if I can afford to fly you back for the holidays. So you would only be able to go out at the beginning of the year and come home at the end of the year.
We'll see you once when you go and come back.
Exactly. Yes. And I know it's a 4-year program, but if you could finish in 2, I think you'd be better.
Wow.
That we might be able to afford.
That was called JUCO.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So I know what the cost benefit and the sacrifice that investment requires of families. And for students, we have 68% of our students are Pell Grant eligible. There is an opportunity cost because for many of these students, they are financially independent for the most part when they leave their homes. And so they have to make a choice whether to go to college or to go to work.
Right.
They have to make a choice whether to take on student loan debt or to go
Absolutely.
to go to a state college, which is more affordable. They can live at home. So for me, we have to make this experience for them worth the investment. And so that means that when they walk across the stage, they don't need to walk across the stage 6 to 7 years from now, because all that does is delay their income earning, and it creates more debt. I need them to get across the stage. They need to get across the stage in 4 years, because they need to be able to earn the income and realize their full potential as soon as possible. So that 4-year graduation rate is something that we have to stand firm in our commitment to, getting to that 60%. We also need to make sure that we're helping them focus on jobs that they will earn more in. Not just jobs, but opportunities if they want to be entrepreneurs. Positioning them to earn more than they would have earned if they had just stopped at a high school diploma. Otherwise, we're asking them to invest their time and their resources in something that is not going to help move them forward in terms of their quality of life long term. So making sure that we're helping to stay focused on those programs of strategic emphasis where we know that these students are going to be able to contribute immediately to the demands of the economy, and to be able to earn a wage that is higher than they would have been able to earn with that high school diploma is essential to our commitment to our families. And so as you think about the fact that Florida's higher education system is the lowest cost in the entire nation, and when you think about the fact that as proud as we are of earning the #1 public HBCU title 7 years in a row, what we don't also brag about at the same time, and we should, is that of the top 12 HBCUs, public and private, we are the least cost. We have the lowest cost of all 12 of them. So you don't get to a better outcome in the top 30 for cheaper than us, but you also can get that quality, the highest quality at the lowest cost by coming to FAMU.
And that 4-year graduation
And a
rate.
4-year graduation
focus. And if
focus.
they start at DRS, they can come, as we had many that only need 2 years.
2 or 3 years. Well, that's even the best formula.
At FAMU. Now, I will say it's really good to hear you talk about the 4-year graduation rate. I remember when we took our son to Morehouse, he's a graduating senior, and they told us, they were like, they're ours now, but you coming to get them in 4 years.
Excellent.
That is the plan, 4 years. And to hear you have that conversation is really aligned with a lot of people don't understand what our HBCUs are trying to do, because the biggest thing, thank God for it, reduces debt as well.
Absolutely.
And to hear that part of your vision. So again, Superintendent Johnson here with our president, 13th president at FAMU. And I know you got this question because I was watching a lot when you were coming in as president. Talk to me and my audience and those about the impact of HBCUs in our society and culture right now at this day and time.
HBCUs have never been more important to our nation's success than they are today. And I know every era is probably going to say, oh, no, they were super important back then. Of course, HBCUs foundationally were founded out of a significant need to educate people who have been excluded from our education systems. But today, when you think about what our youth struggle with, is inclusion. And that's not something that's an isolated feeling that's just among cultural minorities. Right. It is a feeling that many youth feel today, and that is a need to feel included. The reason that HBCUs are now even more important than ever is because we have mastered that. We were grounded in our establishment was to create an environment of inclusion where people could learn their value and their worth, where you would be nurtured in a way to create the confidence that you needed to move forward in life and to realize your full potential. And we have mastered that skill. Right. So I think that we are the place to go today, that where you're going to be able to bypass a lot of the challenges that students are suffering through socially, because we are foundationally built to create an environment of inclusion that pours into our students and builds that confidence they need to realize their potential.
It's so great hearing that. I call it our Wakanda.
Yes, it's our Wakanda.
It's our Wakanda. And I would say the 4 years that I attended the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff was the biggest 4 years where I felt the most that I mattered and that I belonged in the HBCU. We're so blessed here a lot of people don't even know this outside of our city or outside, is that we have, which I lead, our K-12, which is one part of FAMU. Talk to us a little bit about, you've been here with me now a year at DRS and the impact of FAMU DRS and the value that it holds to the work that we're doing at FAMU.
Yeah, as you noted, I'm coming up on my 1 year anniversary, so the presidential search process is still very fresh in my mind. I'm sure it'll be further in the rearview mirror as I come into the next year. Yeah, but one of the things I remember during the process is someone asked me, "What does K through 12 have to do with higher ed?" Right. And that was just a question that was fundamentally not grounded in someone who didn't understand that our State Board of Ed also has responsibility for our state colleges, our Grade 28, which are the #1 state college system in the nation as well. But K through 12 has everything to do with higher ed. For me, what the work you do here at FAMU DRS is not just a reflection of the excellence of our College of Education and the teaching methodologies that we are researching. It is the developmental research school that we are researching and advancing to drive educational excellence. Your reflection, your outcomes are a reflection. The impact that you make are a reflection of FAMU's College of Education's excellence. That's the first reason I am so excited to be in partnership with you all and why DRS is a priority for us. The second reason is, and I'm going to start by giving an example. My high school, King High School, Clarence Leon King High School, the Fighting Lions in Hillsborough County.
We're going to let her have that. But keep going. You got it.
There were 15 students that applied to FAMU from my high school. Only 3 of those students had the SAT scores to meet our admissions profile. 2025, 2026 academic year. Wow. I'm sorry, 26-27 academic year. So they would be a part of the first class that I will have had the opportunity to be to manage their enrollment process and their selection process. Only 3 students from my high school met our profile requirements, and that's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
What's if I could ask, it's pretty, I'm sure, a comprehensive large high school?
Yes. It was one of the first schools in Florida to get an international baccalaureate program. It did well by me. Right. I mean, I went on to Georgetown, to Emory, to, it is fundamentally a school that is in a high needs area. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was so proud, and I still am proud every day, if you can't tell, of my experience at King High School. But what it says is that I need to work with our K through 12 leaders so that we can make sure that 15 out of 15 are eligible, and that if there's only 15 because the other 30 didn't know that they could go to college, that we now have 40 students who are applying and all 40 are eligible. So needing that partnership with programs like DRS, where we're helping to create a pipeline of students that can get into FAMU, whose profiles represent the rigor and the discipline and the academic excellence that is necessary to succeed in FAMU's curriculum is critically important. And the work that you're doing should be a pipeline directly to FAMU. I would take 100 students from DRS that are qualified. I would love to have the problem of building more dorms as my biggest challenge, because I want your success to be our success, because you're doing such a phenomenal job
Thank
creating
you.
students who are academically ready for the rigor of higher ed, that we have to burst at the seams and grow the
for
campus.
me, it's still, President, is our civil rights, is our ordained responsibility. Hopefully this will make you feel a little better. When I came to DRS, I think we had 1 or 2 students that qualified to come to FAMU DRS, and Coach Jones will attest. It drove me crazy.
Yeah.
And now we average at least 50% to 60% of our students that qualify to come to FAMU. Now I tell people, do they all? I mean, my house is 50%. One went to Morehouse, one went to FAMU and graduated. But I think that's so important of what you're talking about for King High School. And just one follow-up to that, and she'll be back, guys, because we're going to go deeper in our conversation in our next visit with the president. What would you say to King High School?
I would say to King High School and to every high school is we should look for partnerships. You don't have to do it alone. I know our superintendents are working as hard as they possibly can every day, because they know that our students don't get 2 chances to do we don't want them to have to take 2 chances to do the 10th grade or 2 chances to do the 11th grade. Time matters. The only resource we can't make more of is time, right? And time and the earth itself. But time is a precious resource, and we need to be able to accelerate the impact we're able to make academically for our students by being passionately focused on getting them the support they need with a sense of urgency. And that is why DRS is so important. That is why these developmental research schools that are in partnership with higher ed are critically important. And I know that everybody doesn't love charter schools, but that is actually fundamentally why charter schools are also important, because it gives families an alternative to educating their child and to getting them to their own academic goals. If their local public, their traditional, because our charter schools are public, if their traditional school isn't able to support them. And I know our leaders at King are doing a phenomenal job. I just want to see how we can help them get these students better prepared.
Absolutely. Great word. And I think the thing is urgency. Because I always tell, and we were talking earlier before we began the show, and I talked last night about this, is I can't look at a parent as a school leader and say, I can wait. So great time. Let's have a quick fun. I always end my show with a little, let's get to know you. And that's what this is about, a little bit better. So let's have a little bit of fun. I'm going to throw out some, and you just answer when it pops to you. You ready?
Yes.
And we'll edit if we have to. What's your go-to comfort food?
French fries.
French fries. Particular place?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Okay, we'll roll with that. Mickey D fries. So next time you come, and she'll be back, we're going to have some fries for you. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Really? How early?
I like to get out of bed by 5 when I'm challenging myself. 5:30. If I'm not in the gym.
I didn't even say damn. I'm sorry, Mom. 5?
Yeah.
Gym every morning?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
See, that's learning a little bit more about Marva Johnson. What song instantly puts you in a good mood?
It's a gospel song that I've been listening to, and it's "Bless Me."
Okay.
And it's by the, I'm going to make up a name. I don't want to, but Kirk Franklin is the composer, and it says, "Bless me, Lord." So everyone around me has everything they need.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm sorry again, and I am an ordained, but mine is Outstanding Earth, Wind, and Fire. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I can't go, the good one.
No.
What's the one app on Marva Johnson's phone right now that you can't live without?
Oh, it's the texting apps.
We'll say Messenger, huh?
Messenger. Like, I can't live without Messenger. Yeah.
All right.
I will tell you, though, we had this conversation. I've come to love Claude.
Yeah, I was just introduced to Claude. I've been a chat GPT, and I was invited out by them to talk about education and really, but then I introduced Claude. So good call. Coffee or tea?
Both. Coffee before noon, tea after noon.
Coffee before. Is that an all day?
All day. The caffeine doesn't bother me. I could drink a cup of coffee and go to sleep at 10 o'clock. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, They just told me I had to get coffee in here, so I'm going to get a coffee pot for your next visit. What's your favorite place on FAMU's campus?
Oh, my favorite. There's so many favorite places on FAMU's campus. I would say that right now it is Lee Hall.
Yeah.
When you sit in the president's office and you look out at the Humphrey statue with the eternal flame burning beyond it and Coleman Library on the quad, there is no better inspiration to my day than to think of the legacy that I am responsible for upholding and advancing, and to see that beautiful quad. And there's no way I don't
and that
start it.
Statue was but I want to come look out that window. I haven't
come up and look out that window.
Out that window, so I'm coming.
Come and look at it.
Okay, so basketball, football.
Basketball. Don't tell Coach.
I'm going to call him. I'm going to win points with him. Maybe I'll get it because it's football, but I play football. So but
I love all of our athletes. I love all of our athletes, but and football is a little.
So she's there, but she's cheering and enjoying basketball a little more, I guess. Describe Marva in one word.
Blessed.
Wow. Okay, I can't say anything. Blessed. That's getting to know you a little bit better. Favorite TV show?
Don't laugh at me, but I have fallen in love with the Game of Thrones series, and I am now watching the House of Dragon. And coming from the cable industry, I'm so excited that we got into time-shifted viewing because I never had the time to sit down and watch TV.
Okay.
At a
do you
scheduled
binge
time.
Watch or
I binge watch. That's what I do.
When do you have time to binge
So
watch?
if I have a big project and I might stay up all night, or I might stay up, 3 hours past my normal bedtime, I binge watch in the background. So my husband laughs because I have to watch things 5 times to actually understand the full plot.
Yeah.
But
don't judge or say we got to write him up and we need a new superintendent. But you know what I have fallen in the last year about, and my wife will probably roll out. True crime. I don't know why.
I'll have to look for it.
True crime. Any true crime I love right now. Last, and I think I probably know the answer to this. Favorite color?
Right now, green is the new black. Green is the new black.
And then she'll do a splash of pink in it as well, right?
Yes.
She'll do a splash. But green. Before I came to FAMU, and we're closing out, and thank you for joining us, I was trying to figure out orange and green. How do you make that work? And then all of a sudden you get here and it's
like, I love it.
That works so well together. Whoever thought of it. Thank you so much, President Johnson, for gifting, and it truly is gifting us some time in Leadership Matters here at FAMU DRS. We're excited. This is not your last trip. She'll be back in because I do want to dig in a little bit deeper and get to know her a little bit a little more. I'll give you any closing word that you would like to render, or if you're good, we're good. Thank you guys so much. President Johnson.
Thank you. I just want to tell you that the work you're doing here is exceptional. Thank again your faculty and your staff here for advancing our students' excellence. And I just want to remind everybody that we are an 1890 land-grant institution founded to educate the sons and daughters of the soil. And we are here to live a mission of purpose and to deliver on that very important, duty for our nation and for our state.
I always say it's our ordained responsibility.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. We look forward to getting to knowing President Johnson a little more. Hope you learned something about her. Thank you so much for joining us for another show of Leadership Matters.